Morning, boys and girls. How are you doing on this beautiful Wednesday morning? The morning is not that beautiful here in Ireland now. It's raining, but it's not cold. It's not bitterly cold. Cold is not biting you as you walk outside, so that's a positive, That's good enough for me. So I don't mind the rain as much as the cold, because the house that we're living in now is very bad in terms of heating, because the heating doesn't work properly. But the landlady, the house owner, wasn't willing to do all she can to fix it up. So we've been living for the last few months in conditions which don't differ much from living in a fridge, to be honest with you guys. When you turn the heating on, it's been bearable, it's been so, but the moment the heating goes off, it becomes very cold. So we've been wearing 3 socks and 2 sweaters, and we've been doing everything we can to stay warm. And now, thank God, the spring is on the way, or should I say summer is on the way, because here in Ireland, May, June and July are the summer months, as opposed to June, July, August, which were my summer months. When I was a kid, when I lived in my own country, in Latvia, we had June, July, August as summer months, so everything begins a month earlier here in Ireland, but I don't mind. Whatever, Anyway, today I was going to tell you something about sophisticated vocabulary, And let's head straight to dictionary.com, which is one of those websites where you can look up new vocabulary words, right? And just look at one of the words of the day, right? Just like any other dictionary website, this one has the word of the day, and today's word is verisimilitude. Verisimilitude. So you may think, wow, that's a nice word, it's worth memorizing, worth learning. But the question you have to ask yourself is anyone in real life, in real life situations when you speak with other people, is anyone going to recognize that word? Will the average Joe, even a native English speaker, know what that word means? Of course they won't. Chances are next to none, my friends. Verisimilitude. Well, my personal opinion is you definitely have to ignore such and similar words, because unless it's your hobby, unless you do it in your spare time, just for fun, just because you're so drawn to that you just cannot refuse learning a couple of similar words, not similar, but words of that nature a day, and then every year you'll learn hundreds of such words, and then you can boast with your knowledge. But then again, how good is it? How useful is it? Such a skill, such a knowledge to recognize and probably even use these words. I'd say it's just a waste of time. And let's check out some other words more. Oh no, that's a description of that particular word, but there has to be more. Previous words, previous words, okay. Insouciance, prolepsis, scupper, rialto, bebello, mazuma, Zzakuska. This is the only one I recognize, Zzakuska, because it's actually a word of Russian origin, and Zzakuska is food that you consume when you drink. And the Russians are notorious of drinking vodka, the strong spirits. You drink a glass of vodka and then you eat something. Because obviously when you drink strong spirits, you either drink something and to alleviate the stinging feeling in your throat, right? Or you eat something, and the food that you eat after drinking is called Zzakuska in Russian, and it's obviously found its way into the English language. But I remember reading the descriptions of this word here on dictionary.com. The description is actually wrong. It says this Russian word for snack, Zzakuska, entered the lexicon in the mid-1880s as a derivative of kushets, meaning to bite. And then there's a couple excerpts from some fiction Do you have anything for Zzakuska? Oleg took stock of the table, boiled potatoes, bread, canned peas and sardines, a glove of garlic. A drink, a shot, take a bite of marinated mushrooms in sour cream. Humankind has yet to invent any better Zzakuska. Well, the second excerpt actually clearly illustrates what it actually is. I drink a shot of vodka, right? So Zzakuska is something you eat on top of drinking, on a shot, but it doesn't explain it that way. It doesn't say when Russians drink and then they eat something a little bit, take a snack on top of the shot, then they call it Zzakuska. It doesn't explain it that way. So it begs the question, how can you trust the dictionary.com website and their descriptions? I'm just joking. Obviously not every word derives from Russian, but then again, this word, nook, the back of the neck, nook. I knew that it was called nape. The back of your neck is called nape. But this is nook, and it derives from French. Yeah, for nape, it's French word for nape. Though its earliest origin is Arabic nook, referring to spinal marrow. Well, I don't have any reasons to disbelieve it, but anyway, the moral of the story, guys, is it's really not worth learning these words because nobody knows them. Ask the average native English speaker what nook is, and they will most likely think that you're using the word nook. Nooks, what does that mean? Nooks and crannies. I searched every nook and cranny. I know this word as part of a collocation, every nook and cranny. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And now I'm going to do a Google search, and I'm going to use the quotes, the quote marks, Always remember this when you do a Google search, put the word or the phrase that you're looking up in quote marks. Because when Google searches for something in quote marks, right, it's going to look for the exact word combination. But if you just enter into 3 words in Google search and then do a lookup, it's going to look for any text, any web page which contains one or all of those words. So even search results containing 1 or 2 of those words will be returned as valid search results, but you want only them ones that contain those words in the actual arrangement, in that succession, so definitely use quote marks. And what was every nook and cranny. Yeah, that's right. That's a valid English collocation. Every nook and cranny, it means every place. I searched every nook and cranny. It means I searched everywhere, Every nook and cranny, every small out of the way place or places where something can be hidden. Exactly, yeah. I searched everywhere. I searched every nook and cranny. So I knew the word nook from this context. So if you say nook meaning nape, the back of your head, seriously. So maybe only 1 out of 10,000 native English speakers have a vague understanding of what you actually mean. So I think this clearly depicts the stupidity of learning such obscure English words and then boasting with them. And by the way, I was doing the same thing years ago, I was reading. I'm still reading, guys. You may want to check out my new blog, bestenglishfiction.com. I'm not saying reading is bad, but when you read, you definitely want to learn relevant phraseology and vocabulary that you can use actually in your daily conversations, not some obscure abstract words that nobody knows about, I remember, for instance, this word, incongruous. Well, it's not that obscure. Incongruous, it's not as bad as nook, meaning nape. Incongruous means something that doesn't fit in, something out of place. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Incongruous. I'm using the same dictionary. Out of keeping or place, inappropriate, incongruous. But then I remember I used this word in a conversation with my work colleague, and he was like, what are you talking about? He hadn't got a clue what incongruous means. Actually, he might have heard the word. I remember he had vague feeling, of familiarity, but he didn't know what the word means. So what's the point in learning such vocabulary words if even native speakers you're going to talk to won't know what it is, so this definitely is a no-go for us foreigners who aspire to become fluent speakers. Don't learn such vocabulary. Learn vocabulary you can actually use in your daily conversations. And by the way, the books I'm reading, this is the Gone series, the fourth book, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, Plague in the Gone series. This book is written in a very colloquial way, using a lot of colloquialisms, colloquial speech, everyday language. I have a small notebook here and I'm writing them down as I'm reading, like almost but not quite. I was totally in the right, as opposed to I was totally right, I was totally in the right. That's another one I wrote, tell you what. Tell you what. It's a way of beginning a sentence when you make a point and then the other person has told you something and then you tell them, tell you what. As a way of saying, listen, tell you what. It's conversational. And a similar one is say what. When you're not quite sure what that other person meant, you tell them, say what? A running joke means a joke that's been used very frequently and it's been actually overused, a running joke. And such and similar word combinations, have beef over something, fight over something, Basically, this book, all books in this series and pretty much any other book I'm reading currently, this is teenage fiction, but it's good in the sense that it teaches you all these conversational means of expression, as opposed to books I was reading previously, years ago, where I was encountering all these sophisticated words that even natives don't know about, so that's my advice of the day. My dear friends, don't learn some obscure vocabulary that nobody gives a damn about, my friends. Learn simple vocabulary, expressions, phrases that everyone uses. Alright, my friends, thanks for watching and see you soon again. Bye-bye.